Welcome to Rapid Prototyping Game Characters. My name is Chris Platts, also known as the Dire Dungeon Master or Professor Platts. Going to make a 3D character from scratch in under 45 minutes that you can use for your game, animation, tabletop game, miniature. Uh, you can 3D print it into stop motion puppets, or you can take parts of the model, lay out the UVs, print them, and use them as patterns to cut out your own cosplay, design, costume. Yeah, pretty amazing. So we're going to show you how to do all of that in less than 45 minutes. And I just wanted to welcome everybody to this new series I'll be doing this summer. Welcome to the M.A.D.E Forum Speaker Series, and special thanks to Mason and all of our volunteers at the museum. They're the ones that keep the doors open and make the place happen. The Museum of Art and Digital Entertainment is in Oakland, downtown, just a few blocks from the BART. And our mission is to inspire digital creators through play. It is one of the only playable museums that I know of. So you can go play video games from all different eras, different consoles, and please come and check it out. I also want to thank the schools I'm currently teaching at here in San Francisco Bay Area, in particular Berkeley City College and Cal State East Bay up in Hayward, and Mission College in Santa Clara. Most of my classes are available online, so please let me know if you're interested in actually taking a full semester long class and broadening your skills. If you're already a game designer, or if you're an aspiring game designer, this is the right place for you. Tools and links will be provided. We have a playlist already for the biped recipe for my basic 3D modeling animation course. If you watch this series already and come to watch the series and already have a biped model done that's all quads and modular and reusable, it's incredibly helpful. And notes are provided with downloads and shortcut keys for all the software that we're going to be using. And further step-by-step instructions will be made today for today's talk, 100% free, at Dire DM on YouTube. You can check out the channel there, have modular design for characters and for doing robots and architectures and cities. Also stop motion puppets and introduction to level design, world building, intro to game scripting. And if you want to take a game design class, I have 3 different options. One is completely analog that has miniatures, cards, board games. That's at Cal State East Bay. You can dual enroll if you are at a community college. You can apply and actually take a class up there with us. If you want to take an online class, the course I teach with Mission College this summer is 1/2 analog, 1/2 digital. You can use any game engine you want. The other class in the fall at Berkeley City College is video game development along with introduction to game scripting. That's in the fall on Thursday nights. We'll also be teaching a virtual reality creative applications class this summer at Berkeley City College. And there's more classes in stop motion puppet fabrication, digital drawing, painting, sculpture, concept design, visual development. So tons of classes. You could basically get a baccalaureate degree by taking this series of classes over a couple years period of time. Other documents that are provided in the slides are the Foundations of Human Anatomy document that gives you all the main landmarks and bony protrusions and skeletal structures you need to know about the human body in order to make characters quickly. And let's just jump into why character design is so special, near and dear to my heart. I think growing up, I'm 70s, 80s kid, 90s new millennium adult, and I just grew up just always drawing, playing with clay, Play-Doh, paper cutouts, and then assembling and designing through Legos and erector sets and making my own puppets, hand puppets, string puppets, um, marionettes, then getting into the whole model kit bashing phase, making my own stuff, making my own board games, always inspired through the discovery of dinosaurs and the possibility of human imagination through mythology and possibility of aliens. Then got into, really headlong into gaming with my first Atari. the hours and hours Space Invaders and Pac-Man and Dungeons and Dragons, of course. And then I'd have to always remember to throw a shout out to Ray Harryhausen, all those amazing stop motion films that inspired me as a child, and all those comic books and the dreams and aspirations that came along with all these activities. So a game without a character to me is, I mean, if it's Tetris maybe, but even chess, you have little characters on the board, and they harken back to our primal roots. The Chauvet cave paintings in France. There's a great documentary with Herzog on the Cave of Lost Dreams, estimated 30 to 32,000 years old. And I think we're learning that a lot of this is, you could look at them as some of the first animations we found. I can envision the torchlight that our ancestors saw these and told stories with these amazing paintings on the wall. And the Lion Man from Hohenstein Stadel, Germany, as the ivory sculpture, 35 to 41,000 years old, carved out of an ivory tusk of a lion man. So who knows how much amazing culture and um, art and games and just spirituality revolved around all these art forms. So I think preserving the way to do this, I think, is really important. So we're going to use digital for today, but I encourage everybody to learn your traditional art forms along with their digital to truly master the newest medium. So let's jump straight into digital sculpting and modeling. I'm going to use Sculptress. You have to download and Sculpt GL. So Sculptress for the Mac or PC link still available. Here's the shortcut keys, and Sculpt GL is a free browser based that is wonderful software, and the newer, better version for the iPad with the Apple Pencil is M.A.D.E Sculpt. So we're going to just do major forms using Sculptress. You just need the home row keys, ERT, DFG, CVB. Really, and then when we get into Sculpt GL, you just need the 1, 4, 5, 7, and 0 brushes. So 5 tools for each. You could also add inflate, I suppose, and a couple other to this, but really that's all you need to use these tools. And I think the less brushes you use, the better. The UI bloat you find in ZBrush and Substance Painter and things like that is just kind of ridiculous. So we're going to go in here and we're going to sculpt a head and a body as quickly as we can. Keep it simple. Bipedal, focus on major forms, bony protrusions, curves and the arcs of the anatomy and silhouette, trying to get a good A pose. And let's jump straight into it, shall we? Okay, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna sculpt we're gonna make a dragonkin or dragon person from Dungeons and Dragons. So from the front view, you see I have my shortcut keys on there. So first thing you want to do is block everything in using regular smoothing and masking. So I'm going to switch between my grab brush here, and so as I turn, if I shift and snap, it will snap to whichever side I'm working on. So I'm looking at this from the front. I can see my little key line down there. Symmetry is on by default. Wireframes W on and off. And so let's go ahead and snap it downward. So I'm looking at it from the top view using my grab brush. If I hit it a second time on accident, you see it'll turn on global. So if I just hit it one time, I can pull. And I'm going to just make a little snout here. And the detail right here, if I want to up a tiny bit, what makes Sculpture so amazing is real-time tessellation. It will add triangles to this clay as I pull. Infinity clay, look at that. Little new triangles are just appearing out of nowhere. That is so amazing. All right, so we'll go ahead and pull this down. And from the top view, you see it kind of constrained to the plane a little bit. Bracket keys make your brush go bigger and smaller. Shift will smooth a little bit as you go. So if it ever gets too out of hand, always adjust it there. And just trying to get a snout and a brow region and a lower mandible and a chin to start off with. That should be pretty good. Then we'll focus on some other major forms here. So this is where D, their typical draw brush. Again, I have the detail up to turn a tiny bit. If I turn it up too high, I'm going to add way too many triangles early on. Good abstract art, good art forms in general, before you go into detail, is the abstract shapes should be excellent. You should have a good shape, good form before you add detail. You see a lot of modern digital sculpts, especially 3D prints. When I was at Monsterpalooza, I saw these really highly detailed digital prints, but the forms were kind of, the detail's beautiful, so don't get me wrong, but the basic shapes were not. And the poses were stiff and dead. And so, yeah, get your basic shapes before you do anything too detailed. So I'm just kind of using Alt pushes in and bring it back up the top. So I'm trying to get the bony protrusion of the brow. We'll go around here to the cheek. There we go, along the front of the snout right here. I'll make this one a little bit of a heavier one. Go back up to the top here. Go back to my grab brush. Bracket the key up a little bit and just kind of push that snout in. You want to make sure that from the front, the eyes are readable on the skull. So kind of making it different than a typical lizard because it is dragonkin, humanoid-ish dragon. Right, there we go. And so a lot is done in the early phase. You just push the clay with the grab brush. Gee, just push and grab, and get the shape that you want. There we go. Next one I'm going to show you is the E, is the crease tool. So crease does a nice little groove for details. So let's let me show you what that does. It's not quite, there's not enough geometry to support the shape. So I want to create that separation. That's when it's okay to turn that detail up just a little bit. There you go. What does Q do? Oh, Q turns it on and off. That's right. Learning something new every day. And we'll give him a little smile. We'll make him a friendly dragonkin. Because this is a series for the museum for kids, right? There we go. And yeah, so that kind of pushes in. The magic trick I like to use with the crease tool is kind of like with the real clay. Whenever you want to have major changes of the surface, I want to separate the upper snout and the lower snout. It's two different forms. Whenever I do the crease tool, it's going to push in. If I hold the Alt key, it's going to do the opposite. So watch what happens here. So I push in the group for the mouth right here. Then right next to it, I'm going to hold Alt, which is now going to pull up rather than push in. And if I pull up next to where I push down, or vice versa, if I push down next to where I pull up, then you've created this beautiful change in the plane direction. And those are the halftone shapes if you're drawing or painting, right? And you turn the wireframe down, you'll see that shows a lot better than just drawing a line. Just try not to draw your lines when you're sculpting. Try and use your shape. You see there's a bevel there too, right? I'll do that again here. I'll Alt and pull down the lower part of the lip and go around the front. As I go around the front, you'll find as you play with the software there, your view angle does matter quite a bit. So you'll need to sometimes go in there and redo a stroke or turn and make sure you're at the right um, viewing angle on the monitor in order for it to show up right. There we go. I'll push these back down some more and push this back out some more. There we go. Good enough for right there. Yeah, not bad. Happy with it. Flattens the next one to go with the F key. So it's going to get blobby. I call it the chewed bubblegum effect. Um, it's kind of very round. We start off with the sphere, right? Make major planar changes, like block in core geometric shapes that make sense to you. So I'm going to use the flatten brush here, and I'm going to stroke along the back of the cranium here. And whoops, there we go. And just kind of flatten one side of the skull here. There we go. Go to the back side, flatten the other side of the skull. I'm just trying to block in what those major shapes are. Maybe the big flattened area right there. Now, if I hit F again, it will lock to the where initial starting point. So if I hit it again, it's locked now. As I pull, you see it's going to pull that clay up and lock it to that plane. That's super useful for when you really want to get that shape locked in and chiseled in. There we go. You just got to make sure it's what you want, right? So shift smooth out of there. Give them a massive jaw bone right here. Go back to the draw tool. And maybe if I hit it a second time, there's a D for soft, S for or clay, D for to make it clay mode where it like builds up in like clay strips, and then S for soft. There we go. Zoom in here. And I think just about ready Let's go into the eye socket here and let's fill in the eye socket with some fleshy region for the eyelid. There we go. Go back, maybe crease down in there a little stronger, pull back up again using the opposite, right, Alt key. There we go. Crease back against that again. And checking my detail is good enough. If I want to in the eye socket, turn up a tiny bit more. There we go, and you'll see the magic infinity clay just keeps on adding a little bit more wireframe, then go back against it, push in, right, crease against where I just pulled up, and now I get a really nice kind of baggy area for the eye socket. Go back to the front here, the outer eyelid, maybe bring that out some more. I just messed up. I had the crease tool going down. I wanted to go back up, maybe draw, maybe bring some of that lumpy clay back over again. There we go. Now I'm getting detailed here, but I do want to finish. I want to put an eyeball in there, so I'm going to hold down Alt and push in that eye there. So there's enough room to drop an eyeball, and then pull this out some more using the regular clay buildup. Zoom back out again, and maybe fill in some more. You see the clay buildup kind of builds and fills the crevice and the groove first before it adds the clay over the top. So it kind of is a really beautiful buildup function built into it. Underneath the chin here, using the regular clay buildup brush again, I'll go in and maybe define some more of the muscle groups. Want the bony protrusion, Alt, maybe push back in underneath there a little bit. There we go. It's got like, maybe I'll give him like the little kind of reptilian little pouch gullet, maybe bony protrusion here at the chin, a little bit more, and a little more bony protrusion there. Back to E, back to my crease tool. The strength is a little lower. Let's crank the strength up and see if it pushes down deeper. There it goes. Now it's pushing down deeper. That's what I wanted. And then hold Alt and bring it back up against it one more time. Smooth it out. Go back to my draw tool. And yeah, I'm going to keep this graphical and simple for now. I'm not going to go back to my flatten brush again, hit it a second time to get rid of that plane lock, and just kind of chisel in some shapes. Again, I can crank the strength up. And underneath here, there we go. Draw a brush with Alt. Push that in some more. There it goes. That's what I wanted. Shift to smooth out. Okay, there's my little basic happy dragonkin character. Start off with flatten maybe some more shapes around there until I'm satisfied. Now let's do some masking. So that's the first one. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to mask this off. Okay, so when you use the mask tool in almost all your sculpting applications with the control key. So I'm going to go back to the head here and I'm going to give him some ears and some big horns, right? So bracket keys bigger and smaller, and it's in relation to how you zoom in and out. Luckily, it stays the same. Right here, and right about the base of the skull right here, I'm going to hold control down. I'm going to do a nice little circle, and symmetry's on, so both sides. Now what that does, that masks off, right? So if I go to my draw brush, if I want to sculpt around it, you'll see it's going to impact the clay around it, but it's not going to do anything where it's masked. Okay. So let's use that to our advantage here. Let's go ahead and I'll put the strength up a little bit, and which is also accessible, by the way, through the space bar, but I don't really use it much. I use ZBrush usually. I just like to show these free ones for new artists. And when I sketch, I'll use this, but they do have a sculptor's mode built into ZBrush after Pixelogic purchased them. I do a little groove around where I want the horns to come out. I'm going to hold down Control, tap one time, and now it inverts the mask. And now I go to my grab brush and I can pull this out. So watch what I do here. Depending on which angle I want. So I want to go up and out away from the head to start with, right here. So I'm going to just pull gently, and there it goes, a little at a time. Pull again. turn on W, and you'll see it's actually creating more triangles for me as I pull. This is one of the most fun ways to create, in my opinion, using Sculptress to just pull these forms um, right out of the model like this. I wish every digital sculpting app had this equivalent. Nomad Sculpt and Sculptio kind of missed the boat on this. Maybe they have a version of this, but ZBrush kind of messed it up at first. I think they've since fixed it. And it's locked to the plane, so as I'm pulling, I got to be careful like where I'm pulling to as well. So it'll get a little long and flat to the plane. So if I want to pull it like up and back and at an angle, I might like constantly adjust where I'm pulling, maybe make the brush a bit smaller. There we go. And then maybe as I come out here, I'll make the brush a little smaller. There we go, and pull until I get a nice. It does do a little some funky stuff at the tips, at the edge, so you want to be careful. There we go. All right, I'm gonna go back down here, use my draw brush, and I'm just gonna maybe turn that detail down. I don't want to get too crazy with adding a bunch of geometry here just yet, but I want to kind of strengthen the volume of this as it's coming out of the head. I'm gonna make sure it makes sense. It reads like a giant set of horns. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. All right, cool. Not quite the direction I wanted to go, but if I wanted to change the rotation on this, I would do a really huge brush like that. And I think if I click and drag out, yeah, I can pull that way. There we go. And that's pretty awesome if you ask me. Whoops. Click and pull out, and it needs to be big enough to get the tip of that horn. So I have to zoom way back, pull out, and there we go. Now I can actually see the horns a little bit more from the front view. And then I go this way, make sure it's small enough to be encompassed by my brush size, and pull up that way. Go. And then I think you could play around with how you want your horns to read, of course. I think it was okay the way it was. Okay. I'm overkilling it. I got to be careful. All right. So control and then click drag on the empty space. Go in here, use my shift key, smooth this out, make sure I don't have any strange crumpling or folding of within the form. Right. There we go. So it kind of killed the separation of the skull to the horn. That's okay. I'll go back to my draw brush. Clay's turned on, and let's kind of blend that together a little bit at a time. So just kind of some back and forth strokes in there. There we go. Maybe some more in the back here. Some more in the front over there. There we go. Back to the top. Okay, underneath. Shift to smooth. And smooth could be stronger than it needs to be sometimes. So, yeah, that's looking pretty good. I think I'm happy with that. Could do extra horns if you wanted to. I can go right here, and we can kind of do some smaller ones along the top of the head. Told myself I wouldn't do this, but I just have to because it's so fun. Control tap, whoops, control tap an empty space. Go back to my grab brush, and then one at a time, we'll just pull these up. There we go, and back a little smaller. There we go, and maybe a little smaller, I guess a little bit finer tip on the top. There we go. Then a little bit bigger, and then I can kind of curve the shape. Try to, whenever you're doing something in 3D, make sure your curves, especially for organic forms, make sure your organic forms curve on all three axes. There's a tendency to get stuck on just one or two axes while working, and you want to avoid that at all costs. It'll start to look dead if you're not careful. Or fake. because it's real. We're making stuff here. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, that now that's going to make problems when I UV map it and do some other stuff, but whatever. Okay, so the head's done. All right, let's go ahead and save this out. So I'll go up here and I'm going to save this as, go into our folder here. I'll make this available for you. We'll go dragonkin underscore head underscore 01. Whoops, did I have my caps lock on this whole time? Dragonkin head 01. Save, and we'll also go in here and we'll do an OBJ. We'll export the head. Dragonkin head, just make sure that I get rid of that file separation, and it's an OBJ file. Okay, go ahead and save that. Okay, excellent. The head is done. Now, if I want to, I can just hit Control Tap on empty space one time, and that will mask the head off. And we can go in here and make a new sphere and add to the object. And if you stay close to the middle here, we'll click in there one time. There we go. Now I have a little ball here. And what we're going to do now is uh, we're going to make a body out of this sphere. It's going to be amazing. All right, so in order to make the body, we're going to do a lot of the same techniques we just did with the head. And so what I'll want to do is go here, grab from the backside this big brush and just pull and make a torso. All right, so as quickly as I can, I go in here and make the chest, the forward lean of the chest. If I need to, I can switch over to my rotate button. Right, I can do this and bring it forward like that. Go back to my draw, back to my grab, and grab is really your friend here. Just gonna grab and pull, grab and pull. There we go. I was gonna have them lurching forward, but and careful from the side view. It's easy to get these little divots in the middle, so you do want to make sure you're getting it from the middle. Otherwise, you'll find an accidental. Most of the time, you'll find you got it the shape you didn't want in the center, kind of squeezing together. Okay, there's my chest. I'll go over here and we'll do the neck. There we go. And I'm going to unmask here in a minute. What happens so ZBrush, of course, and other apps, you have much more power in the tools, but it doesn't have just simple. If they just had added simple layers, it would have been such a beautiful app. They don't need all that extra garbage in ZBrush. There it goes. So now, since I can't lock layers or whatnot, I have to be just super careful here and not merge my forms too fast. So there we go. That should work all right. There we go. And going back to the side view here, and we'll bring out the trapezius muscles of the form around the barrel chest of the rib cage. Make sure you're looking at it from the top, bottom up and top down. Make sure you're getting good draft angle curve for all your forms. This is all covered in my introductory courses. I talk a lot about the differences between organic modeling and hard surface modeling. There we go. And then the pelvis, so the forward S curve of the chest comes down here, and then you have the lean down here of the pelvic girdle. You can switch over to my draw brush, bring that out, bring out the abdomen here. There we go. And maybe some more here at the rib cage. Cool. And across here for the pectoral muscles. Sternocleidomastoids process, Alt push back in. And there we go. And some more right there. Crease tool, E. And just years of practice. There we go. And the clavicles definitely come back around here. And we'll keep adding to it. We'll add the pectoral muscles and all that in just a moment. But first, go back here and finish off the back of the chest. They'll have somewhat of a minotaur-ish, werewolf-ish, like anthropomorphized. But we're going to load this in a Mixamo for free rigging animation, so we want to make sure that it is bipedal, has a neck, has arms and legs, hands and feet, and that That way it'll work with the auto rigger. It'll rig automatically, which saves. This is really, really cool. It does that. Okay, keep going up here. If I get, as soon as I get anything I like here too, I should be saving as I go. Right? Save as you go, save as you go. There we go. It's getting a little burly. There we go at the front. And here's the pelvic girdle right here, the obliques. Add a little bit more there. Looking okay to me. Go up here and I'm going to now mask out the arm and then control tap, and you'll see now it's unmasked also the head up there. So just be careful. And what I'll do is I'll go in here and I'll grab. I'm going to pull the arm out ever so carefully, just a little bit at a time. Go to the side view, make sure that the elbows go back just a tiny bit. Right there. Just got to tuck up underneath the pectoral and the deltoid muscle. And then as it comes out right here, I'm going to curve it, start pulling the elbow out right there. I always mean to make the arms shorter, but I always end up with these super long arms. And then I control tap one time or drag to clear my mask. Now my mask's gone. Now the head's fair game. I have to be extra careful. There we go. And now I'm going to pull this forward. Maybe make the brush smaller. There we go. Now I could mask this out. Control tap and then pull. That's a good way to work as well, right? So I think for this one, control and then alt will take away masking. Good to know as well. There we go. Let me go back to my grab, and I want just a nice relaxed A pose, right? A pose. Again, the capital letter A. Like from this, you could do like the arm, the legs of the A. That's what we're going for here. Turn on you see my wireframe is struggling a little bit to keep on as my detail's low. Once I go out of the masking smooth mode, it should pop back up again. So control drag one time, go back to my draw brush, go to flexor extensor muscles here at the forearm, and there it goes. And it adds the. So this is just knowing how the software works, really. I get messed up quite a bit in here because I am used to ZBrush now, and their kind of bastardization of this, of incorporating Sculptris mode into their package. But yeah, it's free. So you'll hear me say that it's free, so I can't complain. And then I start complaining. Okay, so before I go in here and do the hands and whatnot, I do want to finish off the pelvic girdle in the hand because the hands and the fingers will get in the way, and there's no way to effectively hide them very well while working. So go in here to the pelvic area and let's pull down the middle of the groin. I'll do it from the back side. I think might be a little bit easier to see. So pull down the groin region, and we'll make sure that it has a good arc. See what I mean by the arms getting in the way? There it goes, right there. Because I want to have that separation. You don't want your legs to come off the same focal point. They need to have a separation there for when your character is going to walk and run and jump. I can also use my draw brush in here to put in the gluteus, the pelvic girdle, and the gluteus maximus. There's the tailbone right there, coccyx. Or keep going the front here. Go back to the grab tool, pull down some more, and we'll go in here and hold down Control. And now I'm going to mask off where I'm going to pull the thigh out from the pelvic region. Okay, so Control tap one time, go to my grab brush. Make sure if I hit it a second time, I'm on global. Gotta be careful if I want to do that on purpose or not. All right, there we go. Turn off global. But yeah, global doesn't, when you're pulling off a lot like that, typically doesn't do very well. So I'm gonna pull that out a little bit like that. There we go. Clear my mask, go back in here, and let's add in the gluteus maximus, which goes down to the back of the, oops, that's a flat brush. I don't want to give him a flat butt. Go in here and hit the shift key, smooth out in here where it might have pulled out funny, and make sure we get the hamstrings in there, the quads, um, bring them back. Here we go. So gluteus maximus goes down here for the butt, and gluteus medius goes up here and attaches to the top part of the pelvic girdle. Right, so some little basic anatomy 101 for you. And shift to smooth. Back to my draw brush, I can bring some of these back in, smooth it out again. Definitely not going to do any crazy detailed anatomy. This is just a concept piece to prototype my whatever I'm making. Treat it as such. So draw if I need to, bring back in oblique and then push back in across and then smooth out. It should be good enough. All right, go back in here and go a little bit larger and pull. Oops. Oops, G, grab. Pull. The other G. There we go. Uh, the pressures of doing it real time. Right? Okay, moving forward. So it's going to be the forward S curve of the thigh to the front. So it's going to go down here and then go back to the calf. So it's going to go down that way. I'll look at my posture here just for a minute. It's going to go down this way. And then as it travels, it's going to go, make my brush a little smaller and pull back. Here's my calf. Keep pulling and then a little smaller and then down here to my ankle. See, that got forward a little bit too much. There we go. Look at it from the front view. Whoa, he's got long legs. Holy crap. Did exactly what I didn't want to do again. All good. Just make that a little bit bigger. Oops. Make sure the curve, the arc for the thigh comes out a little bit. Go to the back here, hamstring. Oops. Make the brush a bit smaller. Yeah, if I made him a lot more squat, I would just have a easier time at this early stage. It's just how the software works, really. But get into that detail. I just want to finish this at this point. Down here and give him a little bit of a kneecap, a little smaller. If you do a smaller brush and zoom in, it will add more triangles for you. Good to know. Right. Okay, and the outer part of the calf comes up higher. Lower part, inner part of the calf goes in down lower. There we go. Smooth it out. Gets lumpy, smooth it out. Looking a little lumpy, too lumpy. There it goes. So it did matter how zoomed in I was, what resolution I'm going to get. There it goes. Go back to my grab brush, and the outside of the calf should be curved. So the arc curve should be flowing this way. The inner part's lower, outer part's higher. And yeah, that's looking better. Whoops. I'll make sure I don't accidentally mask things off. Holding the control button. All right, there we go. Good enough. Yeah. All right, let's go right here and let's pull the heel. So I pull the heel out, maybe from the bottom up, I could also do that. And really good heel. And then the front of the foot, I'm going to pull forward, pull out the ball of the foot, and then the outside out here. I did a snap, I hit shift as I went there. There we go. And I had to remind myself as I was doing this, I'm not going to do toes. I always tell myself that, and then I end up doing toes and fingers and stuff, just because it's a lot of extra work to do a demo like this, to do the toes and the fingers on the fly. So a lot of also running the risk of things breaking on me, which I always I shouldn't have said that out loud. The gods are listening. There we go. I'll angle the heel in a little bit better. All right, so go back to my draw brush, get that top arc here. It comes out from the front of the shin. There we go. A few times. Yep. And underneath here, the ball, do the ankle. The ankle is lower on the outside and higher on the inside. There we go. Okay. And I can, there it goes, add a little bit more detail there. And I think I'll be happy so far. So good. Yeah, looks like I got a little dopey down here on the bottom. I could probably go to my grab brush and pull it up a little bit. No, sure. I guess maybe that was just the perspective angle playing around with me. Okay, so yeah, I'll just do like a little clawed foot coming off here. Breaking my own rules like crazy here. Um, hold down Control and do a little circle there, circle there, and he's a lizard man. Yeah, I'll just leave it like that, or dragonkin. Go to my grab brush and we'll pull, whoops, pull the big toed claw out, go smaller as I get to the tip, go larger at the next one as I pull out, and then go a little bit smaller and I get down to the tip. And that'll pull that down out a little bit more detail. A little bit bigger as I pull. As I come down to the end of it, I go a little bit smaller, and that adds a little bit of that detail. There we go. Yeah, and then you get some curve shape. We talked about the arcs and the curves going the right direction and all axes, right? Zoom in, smooth out, shift, smooth as I go. Yeah, go from bottom up. And yeah, getting those little tips in this app's not the easiest thing in the world to do, so I'll try not to do too much more. There we go. All right. Oh yeah, make sure it's curving down. And see what I mean about all three axes? It can start getting really weird really fast. All right, there it goes. Okay, clear the mask, go back to my draw brush, go into the crevices here. This is why I didn't want to do the toes for the one single demo. You could add like some padding under here, but you just want to make sure nothing like crumpled like there, right there. Make sure it didn't like collapse down under itself. I could also do some knuckling right here and use the inflate brush to balloon these, puff these up a little bit. Komodo Dragon's a good resource to use for this stuff like this. How am I doing on time? 42 minutes. Oh boy, almost. So there's a 10 in there, 10 in there. There we go. Get the ankle. Looking okay. It's looking okay. He just needs hands and we're good to go. I'm going to leave the tail off. All right, let's do it. So I'm going to just pull one long grab from the stub here. That's going to turn into the palm and the middle finger. Then go right here and do the same thing, pull. There we go. And then I'll go in here to the inside and pull thumb, curve. There we go. And yeah, could have done a little bit better, but I kind of rushed because I did the toe and I said I wasn't going to do the toe. All right, go underneath the forearm here and hold down Alt. Let's push in some of that area underneath the forearm. Pull these out. The razor blade of the forearm, the backside, just add some of that back in again. There we go. Shift to smooth it out if needed. Shift to smooth. Let's give them maybe one more underneath the thumb here. Yeah, his thumb got a little. Yeah, doing the hands. I ain't gonna lie. I would do it maybe by itself, like I did the head. But since I'm going real fast here, I'll watch my biped recipe on the hand. It's a really wonderful tutorial. It makes doing the hand really actually quite easy. There we go. I give him a little claw at the end. Over here. And maybe a little bigger than that. There we go. I don't know what just happened. I think I pulled in the wrong direction there. Yeah, there we go. and pull the claw. And I could just mask it off at any point if I wanted to. Get the curl. I'm just getting a curl to each of these fingers a little bit better. There we go. And then I tap it a couple times first. It gives me the triangles first, and then I can get to the right angle that I want to do the pull, and then I can pull this claw out. There we go. With this one. All right, knuckle it up, just like we did with the foot. Shift smooth. There we go. What I'm going to do with this character is going to remesh it, UV map it, and paint it. But before I do that, we're gonna get to that'll be the next talk, and do that whole thing also in just a few minutes. But for today, we go back to my inflate brush. Yeah, I think the inflate works really well for some of the knobs here, like the padding, like underneath the finger here and here, the padding under the palm there. There we go. A little better at least. A little bit more there underneath. Now it's looking like my messed up hands. There we go. All right, and then do the extra knuckle out here at the thumb. Cool. I just wanted to give that little extra oomph. Shift smooth any other areas that maybe look a little funky still. Um, Definitely not a full anatomy lesson. There's some stuff that's really off on here, but all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. Nothing crashed, thank goodness. Um, yeah, I can't seem to get the mask going on the different parts there, but he is done. He's a little happy dragon man, dragonkin guy. All right, and he's only 126,000 triangles. So if I throw on my W, I can see here. Um, you have a reduce selected right here, reduce selected, and I can watch the triangle drops at 126. I'll click that, 199, and I'll keep going, keep going. You can see the wires disappearing, keep going, 56, keep going. And you see it's still holding the silhouette really well. So it's getting rid of a lot of the detailed areas. If I wanted to get rid of some detail specifically, then I would hit Y or go to the reduce brush, and I would literally go in here and like paint out some of the detail from this. So you know that's there, and then bring this kind of horn ridge back in here. Yeah, it's cool. Maybe join these up a little better. Um, I do want to give him some frills at the end here, so didn't quite be draconic without some kind of awesome frill at the jawline. There we go. All right. Ah, man, that didn't come out so good, but we can always fix it up in the next video. There we go. See, it all depends on which angle you're at when you're doing this stuff. You want to get at the right angle. There we go. Nice. We talked about doing ears and stuff, but we'll leave that off for now. We're going to go back in and we're going to mask it. We're going to retop him, mask it off, and then we're going to add in scales and paint him. So for a scratch, not bad. I'm happy with them. Let's load them in and let's see what happens. Okay, so first things first, let's make sure we save them. So Dragon can say full and save. So I saw that head save separately just in case you needed to. Then we'll do an OBJ export. Dragon can full. There we go. OBJ. And let's see if it just works in Mixamo. That would be totally insane if it does. So upload, select character, Dragonkin pull, OBJ. And so yeah, test early. Like as soon as you have a model ready and you want to pose it, see how it deforms, see how it moves, see if you have the pelvis or the shoulders defined the way you want them to be, load it in Mixamo right away. It's free. It takes just a few minutes to rig. I mean, this took me months to do when I first started doing 3D back in, what year was it? 2002. It took me about somewhere between 4 and 6 months to do my first character rig, and now it takes, how long does this take? 2 minutes instead of 4 months, 6 months. Pretty amazing, right? Same thing when you do the UV mapping. I think maybe you might have time to go through and do all of that today. Let's see what the UV mapping. Now this is 50,000 triangles, so which is cut that in half is 20. Two triangles makes one quad, right? So 25,000 quads, 50,000 triangles. That's a lot. But I'm going to take it into Maya here in just a moment and retopo it, and you'll see the difference there. There it goes. Bam. So 2 minutes. Yes. Proceed. And hey, what's going on? I'm too sexy for my shirt. There he is. I'm happy with that. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's get a screen cap of that for our document. Okay, so I'm over here in Maya. You could use definitely use Blender or whatever 3D software you want. I'm just going to do the positioning. So the next step in this is to remesh it, UV map it, make sure it's in the right scale and position. So I'm going to go File, Import, and I have my project already set up. Thank goodness. So Dragon Skin Full Import. There he is. So yeah, it's almost never the right size to start with. There we go. And just want to scale him. This is my little human reference. 160 centimeters will make him a tall, maybe not that tall, make him tall-ish. Okay, that's super tall. Yeah, he's going to be like close to 7 feet tall. So I want the yellow key line to go down the middle. I see I got my posture pretty good there. Here's from the front view. Looks pretty good. D and X. Bring it down, snap it to the grid. And from both perspective angles, it looks okay. So we go in here and we always freeze. So we're going to freeze our translates, and rotation should be 0 and scale should all be 1s. We also want to delete the history on this character. Okay, we're going to use the remesh tool in Maya. There's tons of remesh tools available. Whoops, looks like I'm off by one. D and X. Make sure it's on the 0, 0, 0. It's got to be in the center of the world with the feet on the ground. That's the important thing here. All right, and so we'll go into the remesh tool. Let me save this first. Go File, Save Scene As. We'll call it Dragonkin Demo 1. There we go. And now I can go mesh and retopologize. We want to keep the original. We want to scan the mesh for issues. My target face count, I want to keep it, let's say 20,000. Let's be generous to ourselves. Turn on symmetry from axis X, positive, negative. See, it's facing forward. The forward arrow is Z, forward and backward in Maya. Y is up in Maya. X is always left to right. And hit apply. And usually just ignore and continue. There's a couple little settings in there. I will send a link to that video in a short period of time. But there we go. This is so freaking cool. Here is the original. You see it is a mangled mess. Here is our new one. Look at all those pretty quads with, yes, at last, at long last, with a center symmetry line. Now this is the model I can take into Sculpt GL and paint it and detail it and rig it and actually get it looking pretty professional looking. By the time we're done with it, see right now I see a bunch of anatomy errors I didn't get to yet, but that's okay. All right, so that is awesome though. Let's go ahead and take a screen cap that. And now what we can do, the amazing new tools offered here are the UV mapping tools, and all the software is just so much nicer nowadays. I can go into the UV editor. I can just give it a flat planar project. Okay, done. Horrible looking, right? Not gonna ever use something like that, but we just got to cut some seams. So I just go to edge here, cut an edge down the middle there, and then take away everything at the front to the groin region, right about there, and then grab this one, double click that one, goes all the way down the leg, we hope it does, almost. Continue down there to the bottom of the foot. That one wrapped around, so I'm going to stop it right there. We go, and let's do one, hopefully right around there. Yes, right there to the front of the toe where it stopped. And let's continue that one as well. There, there. Can you get the tip of this? Yeah, real-time UV mapping this thing. This is absolutely insane. I would never have tried something like this. And again, this is why I should have left the toes off. You hear me cry about that the rest of this talk. There we go. So up here and then over one. That should be good. And then voila, we just press Shift X and it cuts the UVs for us. We then go to the shoulder region. I'm going to do right there. It hopefully goes all the way down the back to the finger. There it goes, pretty darn close. And make sure I don't accidentally move anything to the tip of the fingers. I'll have the separate slides on UV mapping available for you as well. This one, let's do this one right here. See if that connects to the tip for us. It did. Dang. It did another loop for us. Darn. Okay. Good to know though. Let's just do that then. I'll just double click that one. That'll go all the way down the side and all the way through and around the hand up to that finger. Cool. Let's grab that while we got it. Shift X, cut that one as well. And then we just got to continue it on the other side and we'll be able to do a full UVW map and paint on the model, which is absolutely incredible. Oh, let's stop right there. Oops. Oh, I wanted to do edge rings instead of the edge loop. There it goes out to the thumb. Okay, Shift X, cut again, go to faces, double click, Control U, unwrap. I should have saved first, but boom. Look at that, Control U, unwrap. Wow, amazing. Bring this around here and scrunch. It's got to fit within the 0 to 1 UV space. Like so. We go to the head next. There we go. And let's isolate that head. Yeah. And we'll go to face edge. Double click. You want to stop the cut right up to the jaw here. That's what I like to do. Oops. And right to the underneath the chin. Cut it to right about there. Whoops. Want any of that? There we go. Go in here. Shift X, cut. Back of the horns. I had another one where I just did a ton of horns, and just like with the toes, it just made just an insane amount of work cutting all that. I had like 12 little horns and pieces cutting, like kind of like I started doing up here. Bad idea. Bad idea. I'm gonna leave those on there for now. Let's go faces, double click, and Control U and unfold. Once again, I should have saved first. Let's save right now. Because when you're UV mapping this quantity of faces, it's just a very high percentage. Something's going to go kapoo. Okay, I missed an edge right there, so let's cut that edge. Make sure I have symmetry turned on. Object X, I do. Shift X, go to faces. It needs to relax. Otherwise, you see like skin animal pelts. You can see some similarities, but you can see it's also causing trouble. Control U. Come on. There we go. See, huge difference there. It needs to be given that space to relax the UV. So you want this to be as checkered, evenly checkered as possible. So when you're painting your pixels on there, you can see those protrusions, see those things I said not to do, pull those out. So when I do the live demo, I'm going to not do that and make my life easier. All right, so now I have to spend time here. I have to go to each of these one at a time. All right, if I want to paint them correctly, I have to go each of these edges and double click, double click. Whoops, I see there's a spiral on there, dang it. It still does that. Yeah, not a lot we could do about that sometimes. But I think I'm just gonna leave that for now as is. Not sure what happened to the tip of the fingers out here. Looks like I got one little sliver. Boo boo, it's okay. Go to face, double click, rotate, bring it down, scale it down, make sure everything fits inside the 0 to 1. We could do UDMs, we could have multiple UVs. We'll have another session where there's one, so it's inside 0 to 1, where we go into Substance Painter and do like a nice professional materials job. That'll be part of a later lecture series, but that should be ready to rock and roll. If I go to so you can see all the stuff in here in the inputs for the tweaks on the UVs. So once again, freeze, delete history. Let's call him Dragon Dude underscore 01. And now if I want to export selected, he's now the Dragon Dude. Export that. We'll go over to Sculpt GL, another 3D application where I can maybe paint a little bit easier. And we're going to add an object. We're going to import him in. We're going to bring in the Dragon Dude. He's only 29. There we go. Grab that sphere, bring it up, and scale it down. Turn on W, so wireframe, so we can see what's going on. And go sideways here. There it goes. And we're going to make an eyeball out of this one. At least that's my hope. And down, there we go. Can we get him in here now? Maybe too small. Yeah, maybe too small. This is so fun though. It took me forever to make my first character. I forget how many months it took me to make my first character when I first started doing this. So I'm really, I love doing this, and it's a pleasure to show you all um, what is possible now. Oh, there we go. That should be good enough. All right, so we'll do that eyeball. We'll bring it out, check the wireframe on it, go down to the topology. I can leave it where it is right now. It's at 98,000. No, we don't want it. There we go. And delete higher. And I'm going to go in here and I just want to paint directly on it. And so symmetry is turned on by default. And let's give him a dragon's eye, shall we? Let's do like a yellowy white. We'll paint it all the color. We'll then do like a fiery blue, like that. And then maybe pitch black in the middle. X goes bigger and smaller in this application. And if I want to be like a real dragon's eye, I'd probably want to go cat's eye with it. Something like that. Ah. But this is a nice to have. Like I don't even know if I'm going to get this in there because I probably would want to UV map it. Um, there we go. And then, yeah, I'll just do maybe turn symmetry off for a moment. Do a little soft highlight there. and maybe down here. Okay, go to E, bring it in here, and maybe pull forward a little bit like that. Looks like I'm going to go over an hour just a tiny bit. Control D to duplicate it, bring it over to the other side, and as long as I have them both pretty close, there's not, again, just the basic tools. He didn't have to go make all that crazy Nomad sculpt stuff, but he did. Just a little bit of basic functionality like that, and we would have had a badass application. Okay, so this guy's only 19,000 faces. We could subdivide them one time. We now have that amount of detail. Now I can use my other tools, brush, inflate, flatten, pinch, crease. And this one's a little bit, I like this tool better because I can add to it. It's more flexible. See, there's the brush tool. It's currently on the negative or alt, which is N. The N, that'll switch it. So that is going to bring, you can bring the brow forward here a little bit like that. You can see how that's coming along. And um, except I forgot to turn symmetry back on again. There we go. Subdivide one. Okay, now I can bring this out. And I am going to paint him, looks like in this one. So I am just over an hour, 1 hour and 6 minutes. So in my uh, live demo, ah, later, yeah, that happens. In my live demo later today, I'm not going to be painting them, but there we go. Make sure this eye socket um, operates correctly. Cool. Um, yeah, if you're following along and you fall behind, you're just taking notes, you go back and watch this again and give it a shot. See crease tool 7. There we go. Very similar to what we have in um, Sculptress, right? I can crease that in and then I can hold Alt and I can pull back against it and I can smooth that out, right? So same thing. Smooth tool is crazy strong. It'll just wipe out all your detail. But yeah, and I can't do the infinity clay pull. If I pull in here, it's going to really create some unwanted artifacts. But yeah, it stays quads, where Sculptress begins to really degrade with the triangulation. So with just a couple little modifications, either one of these apps would be super production ready, useful for for all your rapid prototyping for sure. But even for doing professional level sculpting, you don't need 95% of the tools in ZBrush or in Nomad Sculpt. You just need the 5 or 6 brushes I'm showing you. That's all you need. Let me turn off clay buildup and let's do something interesting with the horns up here. And yeah, I would really prefer to do this in Sculpt GL, but it is what it is. There we go. I'm getting a little rougher. There we go. And it's all UV'd already, so I can switch over and paint this guy in just a moment. So hang with me if you made it this long. Don't leave me now. There we go. Just turn down the intensity on the smooth. So do the gullet down here. Whoops. Yeah. Okay. Maybe use the grab brush, which is C0 move brush. There we go. Go back to 1. Go back to my regular brush, and then I can pull in some. Whoa, pull the whoa del. Okay, that was way too strong. My goodness, what are we doing over here? The regular brush. Oof. And then bring in the tricep and the lats in the back. Smooth it out. Traps. I would have liked to put spikes coming off his neck and everything. So the fastest way to do those spikes is just as a separate object. You could do that in here. Whoa. Oops. But in Maya or Blender or whatever, so you have a little bit more of that finesse control that you would want. There we go. And then back here, the front, a little bit more pectoral muscles. There we go. It does have a good flatten brush too, which I don't think I want to get into using right now. Oh, gluteus, that's what I was missing, is his gluteus maximus muscles were underdeveloped. He was too flat in the back, and we gave him the Ken modesty in the front rather than the David micro in the front. I think that's okay with everyone. All right, now this is all live in the browser. There's no saving, so you have to be really careful inside of SculptGL. So as soon as you get something you like, I'm going to go down here. I'm going to save a .sgl file, and we'll call him Dragon Dude 01. Luckily, it asks me each time, so I'm able to save as I go. Okay, let's paint him. So I'm going to go down here to the paint tool, which I believe is 9 on the keyboard. So 0 is move, and 9 is paint. And we could pick a color. So let's go like full on. It doesn't like my, yeah, for this application, sometimes it just doesn't like, what do you call it? The mouse clicks for whatever reason. I'll do like a neutral blue right about there. Paint all, that fills it all with color. And then we'll just do a really quick drag and strap. Again, I'm going to do this as fast as I possibly can, so maybe just in minutes or seconds. But we can play around with the rendering with the material capture skin hazard. We'll go to like a pearl. There we go, and you can see a little bit better. There we go, and then we'll do like a blue for the underside. So as the underbelly here, go nice and big with the paintbrush, and just going to paint underneath the underside here in the front, maybe in the inside of the thigh, maybe at the bottom of his feet, and underneath the arm. This is a good spot where if I did have a quick rig in Maya, I could have, what you call it, brought his arms up into more of a T-pose. That is helpful, don't get me wrong. So there we go. So maybe we could do a little pattern on the back. So we'll go and do some red-orange over here and go like real darker with it, and then play with the intensity. So with the intensity really low and like a low hardness, so it's like a softer brush. And I'm just going to paint in some like warm hot orange colors really fast, just to the outer part here. We'll do like we'll do some kind of dragon pattern. So he's almost got like a copper dragon color to him, which is, I think, is kind of cool. There we go. And I'm not sure if I want his hiney to be that brightly lit, but we do want the front of his thigh. I think we go down here. I'm thinking of like Thundercats, the top of the feet. Yeah, maybe the outer part of the thigh over here, outside the calf. There you go. Definitely the crest, top of the head. And maybe the horn will do a different color. Front of the jaw and right about there. There we go. Do the front of the snout, front of the chin. And go back again, do something like super dark, and maybe even like, let's see if I can get in there to do like deep red. We'll do that on the tips of his horns. Do the intensity up higher, I guess, a C. There we go, being careful I'm at a bad angle. I don't want to get the ends. There we go. But the UVs should all work. This should just export and show up in do FBX. And now I can lower the intensity way back down and just do like a soft blend. See, it's not the best, it's free. Doesn't do that great of a job with a soft airbrush end, but better than nothing. I'll get the tips of these ones here. There we go. And maybe a little bit more. And painting sculptures is so fun. It's like definitely my favorite type of painting, more than on paper or canvas. But yeah, it's taking more time. I might go in and paint to match the scales. We'll add scales to them and stuff like that. Maybe make his nuzzle black. There we go. And then let's do, could do some more blue. I think that's going to be it for right now. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save again, save the STL file as the dragon dude. Oh, yep. Then we're going to export, save as an OBJ, the dragon dude underscore texture. Save that. Actually, let's see. There's another STL if I wanted to 3D print them, but I want to put them in a pose. You don't want to 3D print a boring ass A pose, do you? No way. All right, so go back over to Maya, grab him, bring him back. File. Let's actually move both these guys out of the way. File and import, and we'll get the dragon dude text OBJ. You'll see there's no texture on him yet. That's because we have to go back over to Sculptress, or I'm sorry, SculptGL, and we have to export, save the diffuse. And we'll do dragon dude 01 underscore COL for the color map. So I usually do. Back over here and we'll drop it on there. I'm at 1 hour and 15 minutes, not too shabby. And we'll make a new texture. See that a blend. We'll make another blend, blinny, blend. And we'll add the material. Go put it in source images folder. Grab the dragon dude color. There we go. And make sure we're showing texture. Where does he go? Dragon dude. So click on him, right click, add a selection, and voila. A little bit of a tiger pattern. I don't know. I like it. Did it come across in his eyes too? It did not. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, so we'll probably, yeah, I should have done the eyes separately, but I just didn't have time right now. So, okay, so good to go. Yeah, um, he's ready. All right, so we save, export selection, and do this one as an FBX. So, dragon dude and FBX. There we go, and we make sure that geometry, smoothing groups. Let's see, this is worth pausing for just a minute here, making sure the smoothing groups are turned on. Turn off animation, turn off camera, turn off lights, turn off audio, turn on embed media. That will embed the texture map into the model. Okay, and then we're gonna export that to our scene. There we go. Go back over to our folder that I just exported. So the trick with Mixamo, which is kind of dumb, it's in the documentation if you look closely enough, is it needs to be zipped in order for it to embed in there. So we go in here and we compress to a zip file. So now I have my Dragon Dude as a zip file, and boy, I sure hope this just works. That would be so nice. That will make me very happy. We'll go back to Mixamo and we're going to upload character and I'm just going to drag that zipped up dragon dude in there and please tell me the texture map shows up. It's hit or miss. Like half the people that do this when they're texturing, like, oh, why isn't my texture map showing? It's like, oh, if you there's like a documentation page from a long time ago that says to have it zipped with the texture in order for it to connect the FBX, which I'm not complaining. It's oh, I guess I am, but it's free. So what the hey? And ah, it's texture. How freaking cool is that? All right, same thing. Chin, quickly get the chin on there. Wrists, get the wrist on there. Elbow, give him an elbow. Everything's symmetrical. Everything's gone pretty smooth. I didn't flatten his feet out quite. That's all right. All the little stuff. It's a rapid prototype. Nobody cares if your feet are not perfectly flat on the ground. Next, drums, please. Now the next one I will take and actually do a little bit more detailed texture and do some like next phase detail. We'll give him some armor, some clothing, some weapons, and give him a handheld item of some sort. Maybe we'll make him a wizard or a sorcerer, some staff or something like that. And then we'll load him into Unreal Engine, set up to a character controller so that he can be turned into a player character and or an AI bot. All right, so let's see. Please tell me I'm recording still. Okay, recording's going still. 1 hour and 21 minutes. Phew. Come on, baby. Yeah, I mean, 2 minutes is long for this thing. This is absolutely nutty compared to taking, you know, 20 minutes or an hour or weeks or months, like my earlier story when I first started doing this. There he is. Yeah, all textured and everything. Do not show me this warning again. Thank you, Mixamo. You're beautiful. I love you. And there he is now. And we can do a quick before and after. You see the material in there is a little funky, but I think that's really the next phase for this is to do the materials right. So let me pause him there. Um, let's do screen cap. Screen capping this as I go off the screen. And you can also see the skeleton rig on there. So let's take a screen cap of that as well. Show that in Mixamo. And I think it's time for a victory, a celebration. We say idle victory. Yes, we do. We say yeah. Oh, whoops, no, that's not. That's not idle victory. That's idle. Darn. Oh, we are victorious. Yes. Yeah. Or yeah, still gonna stretch a little funny in the. Let's do this one. Yeah. Woohoo! Thank you for watching. I'll hopefully see you all live at the M.A.D.E tomorrow on online on our Zoom call for Zoom chat, and I will see you for the next steps in the series of rapid prototyping your game characters, game animation. We'll also unwrap the head and make a mask out of EVA foam and make a stop motion puppet. That would be so sweet. See you next time. And thank you very much. At Dire DM on YouTube. You can email me, Chris at themade.org. I'll have my upcoming classes for you. Join the community at the M.A.D E. We'll have our co-op work days. First Friday's coming up this Friday, and I'll have a donation QR code for you as well. All right, thanks everybody. See you next time.